welcome to Fletch Deep TV again. This week I'm going to be doing a little bit of a two-part video here. I'm going to be going over broadhead selection since season is up and coming, and I was doing a little work on my broadheads today, getting them all sharpened up. So first I'm going to go over selection, and then I'm going to show you guys how I sharpen and get all my broadheads razor sharp, ready for season. So first off, let's talk the difference between just your basic fixed blade, solid, one piece, or not, this isn't a one piece, but solid. The blades don't move, they're set in place, and I'll show some close-up pictures in the video here. This is a thunderhead. This is a tried and true broadhead, been around for a lot of years and killed probably more deer out there than any broadhead ever. So if you're looking for just a dependable broadhead, maybe you shoot a little lower poundage. The blade angle on this is a lot shallower than some of the expandable broadheads. For instance, let's say this. See if I can open this without cutting myself. There we go. Got lucky. You can see on like this Killzone Max here, yeah, you get a lot bigger cutting diameter, but it takes a lot more energy to push that through there. And you can kind of compare the blade angle there. This one's going to do a little more chopping and slicing, and this one's just going to zip right through there. So kind of a trade-off there. But like I said, if you're shooting lower poundage, definitely I would stick with a fixed blade. When these mechanicals open up, you saw how hard I had to press this one against the table there to get it to open. It takes a little bit of force to open them, which any shot is going to create, but as soon as it does, that's going to rob that energy from continuing to pass through the animal. So if you're trying to go Fletch deep, you better be shooting a lot of poundage or have some heavy arrows and make a perfect shot every time with these. If you put one of these in a shoulder blade or a leg bone, you're probably not going to make it through. Versus, these are some of my favorite broadheads for low poundage, or if anybody just wants a super credible and durable broadhead. These fat heads right here, these have an 80 thousandths thick blade compared to most broadheads out there have like a 30 thousandths blade. This thing is indestructible, has a super shallow cutting angle like that. Not getting a huge cutting diameter again, but you're going to see a lot better blood trails if you're getting a pass through, and this is what's going to help you with that pass through. So I know we talked about in the arrow video, building your arrows, how increasing your arrow weight and shooting a skinnier arrow is going to help with penetration. Those are probably going to come second to your broadhead selection. So if you want to shoot these big Killzone expandables or anything like that, not just the Killzones, a Rage or anything, even these Grim Reaper Whitetail Specials, these are 2-inch 3-blade. I mean, they put an awesome hole in a deer, and it's amazing the blood trail you get if you can get a pass through with these. Like I said, when I was shooting heavy poundage, shooting my 80 pounds, I had no problem with these, and these will just create a tremendous hole in a deer, and you'll have blood trails like crazy. But anybody shooting 60 pounds or 70 pounds in a short draw length, light arrows, trying to shoot fast, would not recommend this right now. I would stick with a fixed blade, or my personal favorites right now that I'm going to be using pretty much exclusively this season are these Grim Reaper hybrids, and they're exactly what they sound like. They're a hybrid between a fixed blade and your expandable blades. So in flight, you have most of the characteristics of expandable. You just have a small 2-blade basically, so they fly really well for me. I haven't had any issues with flight. And then no matter what, you're guaranteed that 2-blade is going to do its job. If somehow these expandable blades didn't open, which luckily, knock on wood, I've had no trouble with Grim Reapers in the past. some of my favorite broadheads. But when they open up, you get this big nasty 4-blade hole. It's basically kind of like a slick trick on steroids. So you get that coming out of the deer. So create an awesome little hole. I can get these things super sharp, which I'll show you here real quick in the next video. So keep an eye on that. This is an awesome little stout broadhead. I did in the past with the Grim Reapers when I was shooting, like I said, the whitetail specials, that long ferrule. I had one of those bend, not real bad, but it was on a pass through. It got the job done still, but I couldn't reuse the broadhead like I like to do. So one throwback to those a little bit. But like I said, guys, any of these, for like my girlfriend example, she will be shooting a Slick Trick Standard, which is just an 1-inch 4-blade. I've got it taken apart here so I can sharpen her blades up, get her ready for season. Last year she shot the Thunderheads, got a pass through on a deer, shooting 40 pounds and a 24.5-inch draw length. So any of you guys that are out there shooting 60 pounds and 70 pounds and still can't get a pass through, probably the main reason is going to be your broadhead selection is what's holding you back. If you're just out watching all the hunting shows and they're all promoting big, huge, expandable broadheads, you notice most of them aren't getting pass-throughs anyway. So if you want that, if you want just one hole on the front of the deer, go for that. But if you want 2 holes and you want good blood trails, highly recommend maybe toning back the broadheads a little bit. So I promise you, if you put one of these, it may look small. Promise you, if you put one of these where it's supposed to go, anywhere in the lungs, heart section, this is going to do the job, put the deer down, no problem. You're going to get awesome little 4-blade hole going in, and you're going to get that going out, and that's going to lead to your better blood trails, excuse me there. And these things are very sharp out of the package. Need very little touching up to get them to just absolute razor. And these things are sturdy, dependable. So anybody shooting that lighter poundage, highly recommend these guys. Take a look at them. So I said, if you're having problems with your pass-throughs, take a look at a fixed blade or maybe a smaller expandable broadhead. Instead of the big 2-inch, maybe find an 1.5 inch or an 1 3/8 broadhead. You're gonna have a lot better luck with that, and it's gonna give you better blood trails in the woods when you get those pass-throughs. I promise you guys, you get way better blood trails when they're bleeding from both sides. So I guess that's all for this tip, and I'll get started on the next video and hope to get it posted pretty soon, guys. So stay tuned, Fletcher Deep TV.